So last week I gave a little love to African mythology from Central and Southern Africa in games, because I thought, you know what, people really don't look at these areas very often. But even though Western and Northern mythologies are a lot more popular, they still deserve a bit of recognition. So today we're going to look at three more creatures from African mythology that appear in games, but this time from North and East Africa. Welcome to the Echo Chamber, the channel where we talk about nerd news and pop culture in Zambia and around the world. Let's start with the most famous entry, Anansi the Spider. A lot like Thor is the face of Norse mythology, Anansi in African mythology is the poster child. And it kinda makes sense, he is the trickster god of stories. Hailing from Western Africa, Ghana to be specific, the story goes that once upon a time, humans had no stories, no entertaining way to convey ideas or to teach important life lessons to the next generation. Stories are reserved only for the gods, and Nyame, god of the sky, was the original keeper of stories. Anansi saw the boredom of humans and decided to remedy it. He approached Nyame and asked for the stories to give to mankind. As gods often do, Nyame set a condition. He would only hand over the stories to Anansi if he completed a challenge. He tasked Anansi with capturing four creatures: Osebo the leopard, Onini the python, Mboro the hornet, and Motia the bush fairy. If he could catch them all, Pokemon style, and bring them to him, Anansi would earn the honor of having all the world's stories. It was an impossible task for a man, let alone a spider, but Anansi had a few tricks up his sleeves. He did manage to do it. And here's the twist. When Anansi finished, Nyame simply handed over the stories. No anger, no extra tasks, no tricks. A fair deal is a fair deal. Really refreshing if you're used to Greek myths, I'll tell you that much. And that's how Anansi became the god of stories, giving humanity tales to share. Being so famous, Anansi appears in media all over the place, and shows up in American Gods, in comics as original Spider-Man, and of course, in games. He appears in Civilization 6 as a hero in the Heroes and Legends game mode, and in Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance, where he appears in a side quest as a summonable demon. Adze. Adze is another mythological creature from West Africa, common in Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. The term Adze is actually broader than just the creature. It's often used as an umbrella term for witchcraft. It doesn't always refer to the vampiric creature called the Adze. Sometimes it can also even mean something positive, like the genius and spiritual awareness of women. Mostly, though, it carries the same weight as juju, malignant magic cast with the intent to harm. The creature itself comes from the legend of the Adze sorcerers, who allow their bodies to be possessed by spirits. These spirits leave the body through the mouth, nose, or the top of the head in the form of a flame. Once freed, the flame roams the night as any number of nocturnal creatures, including bats, owls, but most often fireflies. In this form, they go out and feed on the life force of humans, either sucking their blood or eating their flesh. They are said to particularly favor the blood of beautiful children, but you can fight back. You can appease them with palm oil or coconut milk, or use brute force to capture them, though this is risky. In some stories, capturing Adze causes them to transform back into humans, and they will begin to beg you to spare their life, offering gifts and loyalty. If you accept, it can become your friend and leave you alone forever. But if you do choose to use brute force, there is also the risk of it attacking you the moment it goes back into a human form, in which case you must kill it. The myth of the Adze is not straightforward, and often changes depending on the context. Blood sucking is just one of the ways it can cause harm to you. Their presence alone can cause general misfortune, and they're often summoned out of jealousy and said to target people with positive traits. Not only beautiful children, anyone could be affected. As long as you have a beautiful trait, it could be beauty, intelligence, wealth, charisma, or good standing in the community. In Western media, the Adze is most commonly interpreted as a vampire. The legend mostly appears in indie projects like the film Adze the African Vampire or fan-made games such as Town of Salem Testing Grounds. Ammit. In Egyptian mythology, well, yeah, I know, controversial start. Egyptian mythology is one of the top 3 mythologies, but hey, it is African. It is African. Deal with it. However, you have to admit that this one doesn't get talked about much, and honestly, it's kind of been done dirty. Ammit is a devourer of souls. Some call her a god, others see her as a demon, but her role isn't malevolent. It's necessary. Of course, you don't want to hear that if your soul is about to get eaten, but hey, it is what it is. Here's how it works in Egyptian mythology. When you die, your heart is weighed on a scale against a feather. You get to enter the Egyptian equivalent of heaven if your heart is lighter than the feather. But if your heart weighs heavy, you can first appeal to Osiris, arguing how unfair it is to wear your heart against a feather. But more importantly, you get to plead for mercy. Osiris might let you through. Otherwise, the crocodile, lion, hippo demon gets to eat you. In most stories, that's how it goes. In some versions, however, you are thrown into the lake of fire to suffer for all eternity, and Ammit ensures you never escape. Personally, I'd rather be eaten. Considering Ammit is part of the Egyptian pantheon, she's not hard to spot in media. She's appeared in Moon Knight and Yu-Gi-Oh! But in AAA gaming, she's been done dirty. In Assassin's Creed Origins, she's appeared as the Soul Eater, but Ubisoft reimagined her as a giant snake. Creative liberties were definitely taken here. Well, that's all, folks. If you know any other lesser-known African mythological creatures in games, let us know in the comments below. That said, this has been the Echo Chamber, signing out.